welcome back, Jesticles. It's Thursday, which means it is light show stream time. We have back with us once again the man behind the Vortex platform, our very own Unreal Engine of light shows. Shane, welcome again to the stream.
What's up?
How's it going? We're back on the same grind with the Vortex editor. Basically, you fixed everything that was giving us trouble last time.
Yep.
And that's a good thing. I just all of a sudden made everything go weird. Okay, hang on one second. I got this. Make this work. All right, let him cook. Here we go. Okay, so now I have the editor in frame and you in frame. People can see what's going on here.
Right, but we need to get the new version.
We need to get to the new version. Oh, that's right. I should go ahead and download the new version. So send me the link for that, or is it live on your website already?
It is live and ready to go, but I will send you the link anyways.
You know what? No. Instruct me on how to find it so that people can see how to find it.
Okay, cool. The easiest way to find the link is to go to stoneorbits.com, and if you look at the very top bar of the page, there is a button that says Vortex Editor. So go ahead, bounce on over there,
Vortex Editor.
Click that button, and it'll take you to the page with the download.
And the download is for the PC. Downloading that. So
Right.
that's it. That's all there is to it. It's very much live, very easy to get. So go ahead and get the updated upload, download, uplink.
You also
Uplink the hard drive to the laptop. All right, what were you saying?
You also need the UF2, which is the part that goes to your gloves.
Well, then I need to undelete, reopen that tab. Where did that go? Reopen closed tab. There we go. Okay, and the UF2 is the thing next to it, right?
Right, and you might even notice a third, but we'll get to that.
I do. Oh, an emulator. Interesting. All right, well, I'll leave this tab open then for later.
Yes.
For reasons.
Welcome
everyone in the stream. We got old Dave already. Probably been in here since Wednesday. Welcome, Dave. We appreciate you. Vio with the wrench. Happy Thursday. Flexo Man, hello, welcome. Everybody's chatting about how cool this toy is already, which is just wonderful to see. But yeah, so I have those things downloaded. Let's see what I got here. I've got
a UF2
Vortex Editor.dat.
Oh.
What is that?
What is that? Which link
Vortex
did you get?
Editor 1.
Do we have a broken link? Uh-oh.
No, but then I also have the .uf2 sitting there too. But maybe, I don't know what a .dat is, but maybe I just downloaded a thumbnail or something.
Yeah, you might have. Just, if you left click either the download button or the link for either one, it should download. But you're looking for vortexeditor.exe.
Yep, I've got that.
Cool. And then the other one is the UF2. And if you have those two, oh, good. Yeah, you have it open. That's the new one. Great. Excellent.
How can you tell the difference between the old one and the new one? I think I have both of them installed.
You do. Notice the number of buttons has decreased greatly, and there's a new status bar.
Okay.
Well, we can go for that. We can test it out right now.
All right. Well, good to know that we have that one open. Let's go ahead and get my new UF2 up. So you double click the buttons here.
Daniel joined the chat and said that the DAT file is from your last editor.
Gotcha. Okay, so
yeah, you can ignore it.
So we double click the green and then we drag the UF2 onto the Tinker.
That's right.
And it goes perfectly right in and closes. And I could do that with my other one, but we'll just hold that for now.
So go ahead and on the glove, now that you have the editor open, on the glove, go to the button and press get to the purple menu. Oh, okay. You might delete the DAT if we run into issues, but we'll see.
I'm just gonna go ahead and delete it right off the bat.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be there, so just get rid of it. All right, so I'm gonna turn it on and then click to the purple? Hold to the purple?
Yes. You hold to enter the menu and then
And
you
then
click
click
through
to
it.
the purple. Yeah, okay.
Just a little bit more streamlined.
Which is a good touch. That's a nice touch. Okay, so now that it's on purple, I
Yeah.
click and hold again.
No, you look like you're in the purple, not the purple menu, but the green, the teal menu, purple setting. So go ahead, exit that
No,
menu. You
no.
didn't quite.
This is
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. You're
this is
right.
correct.
I'm tripping. Yeah, hold the button to enter the menu. Sorry, I thought you already had entered.
Hold enter.
Or
Okay,
just
now it's entered.
confirmation press. Yeah, there you go. And you should. Interesting. Uh-oh. Well, check your port list. See if it has showed up. It should have um, automatically populated your port list and connected to the glove. Oh no. Maybe it was a issue from deleting the DAT file because you had already opened the editor. Here, why don't we start fresh just in case we made some issues
Okay.
with that DAT file. So go
So
ahead, close the editor and keep the glove set plugged in. You did update the UF2, right?
I did update the UF2.
Cool. All right, so open the editor. What's that?
I think we tried to open the
Huh.
wrong thing. I think I tried to open the old one.
Cool. Dan said he can join us too if when he's back later, if we're not done.
Looks like we're
Great.
in, and
There we
now
go.
my button is on,
Cool.
and now
Go to the
I'm
purple
in the
menu.
purple menu, and now I click to confirmation hold the
Yeah.
purple menu,
Good. There you go.
and
Connected.
it
Already
says
done.
connected.
Boom. Instant. That should be how it always works. Oh, did you? Yeah. No. Go ahead and click pull,
Pull, and there we go. And we
and there you
pulled,
go.
and now we
Now
can
we
change
have
things.
everything should be real time, good to go. So long as the USB doesn't get like this jostled and disconnected for some reason. Usually it doesn't, unless you have an old USB cable that is like weak and lost its springiness. Yes, so there you go. You're in the editor now, and there's some things we're still working on in the editor, like the custom color picker. So right now, when you open the color, it'll bring up Windows color picker. And Daniel mentioned this before, but
He wants to do something different.
we have a fancy one
He's got a
that he's working on.
custom color picker.
Custom color picker. It'll have like hex values, so you can enter in the hex values manually. It'll have sliders. It'll be a similar square shape, but it'll just be overall nice, the right color theme to match the editor.
Well,
And
I
so,
already love this because this is looking so much better than before. Question though,
mhm,
um, how do we edit some of these values?
sure. If you want to keep all the values the same for, I'm sorry, if you want to keep, well, it really depends what you mean. So
Well,
the value.
let me specify. So I want the groupings to be closer together, but I also want,
The timing.
yeah, the timings,
Cool. If you
timing
want to change
values.
timings, that's what all those little text fields on the rightmost edge of the window are for, with the numbers in them.
Yeah.
You can hover those numbers,
Oh, and it
and
says right there what it does. Okay, that's so cool. Gap to duration. So walk me through this. We've got on duration, which means
that is the time that the light will be on for a flash.
light will be on for a flash. So
The duration that the light will be on for. So the longer the time, the bigger the strobe.
I want it down to 1.
Make it one.
And then the 5 is
That's the off duration. So that'll be the space of blank between each flash, each strobe. So the larger you make that, the bigger the gaps will be. The
okay.
smaller you make it, closer you get to a ribbon.
And then
0 is
gap 1 duration. What does that mean?
so for Jest mode, your mode, we had a very um a very interesting way of setting it up. normally on any pattern you have the on duration, the off duration, and the gap duration. After you basically alternate between on, off, on, off, on, off, and then once you've completed your whole set of colors, you move on to gap. So you go, if you have 3 colors, you go on, off, gap. Or rather on, gap. It replaces the off.
I see. Yeah, I remember how we set up I remember how I explained jest mode to you. What I didn't remember is how you
Set it up.
how you coded it essentially. And now
Right.
now that I'm looking at it, I can see it a little better here.
So yeah, so the first gap is the gap that applies to the fingertips, I believe, and the second gap is the gap that applies to the finger tops. But they all share the strobe time.
Okay. So if
And then
if I bring this gap 2 duration down, that's gonna tighten everything. That's gonna tighten.
If you make the gap durations match, you will have all the fingers matching because there will be no difference anymore.
Okay.
So right now the finger tops have a larger gap, which makes them blink in sets.
Okay, group size needs to stay the same, and 69, as much as I would like that to stay the same, I think I'm gonna try 50 to see what it looks like.
The timings may have adjusted a little since the previous.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was noticing that it wasn't exactly giving me what I was expecting, what we made. But what's so cool about this is you just change it. Like now I can just build what I want, and this is so much closer to what I want.
Right, that's so cool because you wouldn't have had. It would have taken hours. In fact, we did it in hours the first time.
It took us hours, and all I have to do now is just be like tinker, 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 and I can see what's happening in front of me without having to change the color set. Or I can change the color set, and I can make the color set make sense so that everything. Oh my god, that's so cool.
Another cool feature with the new color window that we're trying to that Daniel's working on is a live preview. So right now, when you click a color, it opens the color window, and now those two are linked. That color window will only affect that color slot. But the plan is to separate the two, so you can actually just open a color window by itself without any slot attached to it, and you can literally pan and drag through the whole spectrum of colors and see on your fingertips what those colors will look like, and then save those colors to your presets. Oh, careful! If you click the button, you'll have lost the connection, and you'll need to
start over.
Reconnect.
Yes. How do I reconnect? Need to go back
to the menu.
Okay.
So, well, actually, you might already be in the program menu since you clicked it once.
No, I'm back in the program menu here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, go to the purple menu, and that should give you a connection. You might have to pull again in order to activate everything, and you'll lose your.
There it goes.
Cool. You'll lose your changes because you just pulled from the glove set.
That's fine. I remember what I did.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, yeah, the single click shouldn't matter. You just have to pull again. Daniel's confirming. You didn't necessarily have to exit the purple menu, but I wasn't sure if you did or not. There's a slight delay on the video for the stream, because on Discord versus audio versus video. Anyway, yeah. So right now you have to click a color, set it, and then it goes into the color set, and you see what it looks like altogether. But if you just want to demo a single color, it's a little trickier to do, and the new color tool will allow it very easily. In real time, you can drag your pointer across the spectrum and watch the gloves follow you across the spectrum. But yeah, so the timings on that is the gap 1 and gap 2 timings are the real differentiator. It sets your tips apart from your tops. And then the group size, that final variable 3, is you probably recall, but for the viewers, it's a group of colors. So instead of making a full color set on the top pixels, it actually will put a gap after that number of colors. So if you put 5, it'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then gap. If you put 2, it'll put 1, 2, then gap. The color set will still go in the same order, like from the first color to the last color, and then repeat.
That's it. I found it.
You
We
found it.
found it. We found the secret sauce. My
Yes.
goodness. That's amazing. And we did it within 15 minutes. That's so crazy.
Right?
All right, and
Oh
so
yeah.
now I can save this by pushing.
Yes, pushing it will save to your glove set, but you can also save it as a file to store on your computer in the file menu. There's save, file export.
File.
Um, and it depends on whether you're trying to save the one mode or the entire set of modes.
I'm trying to save this as, so I want it to replace mode 0.
Yeah, then you just push, and then now forevermore, you've lost the old mode 0 and gained the new one.
Nice.
So whenever you pull is when you draw the save file off the orbit and read it, and whenever you push is when you take the save file or take what you've currently opened in the editor and overwrite the save file in the glove.
Gotcha.
Daniel says to think of it like the editor itself is its own glove, and pushing is a lot like an IR transfer.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Dave said to explain that, please. I'm not sure if I covered what his question was, but that's the concept. Pushing and pulling takes saves on and off of the device, and then saving and loading takes saves off of put saves on and off the computer. Does that make sense? Maybe.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. Sorry, I just got distracted by doing
It's
something
easy
here.
to get distracted.
This is so cool.
Yeah.
This is so. You have done it. You have done the thing.
Oh yes, it was a
Oh,
group effort, but
I unplugged one.
oh, you unplugged the chip. Yeah, that'll happen.
I might have
Yeah,
unplugged a
wire
um, a, a
tip.
tip. Yeah.
Mm. It is. I've been looking into. So now that we've tested the wires for several months, like 8+ months or something like that, and we have really yet to get a single broken wire with the new wire system. So they're really really durable. Um, and because of that, I can now put more strain on them as part of the design. Right now, the current design was to relieve all strain from the wire by giving breaking points that are easy to disconnect. The double-edged sword is that now the lights are sometimes easy to disconnect when they get snagged, or or they're not long enough, or
So
just you get
you
lucky.
nice. So you're trying to make them a little more tough to snag when
Right, which
unbind.
will it'll result in shortening the life of the wires. But so far, when we're in the scale of 6+ months, that's acceptable.
All right. So hear me out. Hear me out.
Yeah.
Send with your new um devices, every new glove set, send
Mhm.
one of these wires with it that's about 3 times the length so that I can pick up one chip and wave it around without moving around the vortex mod itself, because
Yeah.
I need to be able to see the trails, and I'm waving this thing around, and I'm really worried about,
Mm.
unsnagging or unhooking the USB here.
I
I think
think
I think it'd
I
be
think
helpful.
both approaches could stand to solve the same problem, maybe. Like a stronger connection or a more secured connection.
Well, I'm more worried about this connection here
Uh-huh.
than these connections, because this connection means I have to start over.
Oh,
You know
the
what I'm
wire,
saying?
the USB
Yeah,
connection.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So like if I have one of these wires that's 3 times the length, then I can wave this one single tip around and be able to see the pattern
Mhm.
without moving the pad itself.
That works really well for single LED patterns, but what about patterns that course across all LEDs? Then you kind of run into the problem of
Hmm.
needing 5 wires that are long.
Well, then you have to be a little bit more creative in how you're live previewing, I guess. That's up for the user to decide, but if you give at least one long wire, that can certainly take
Mhm.
steps to solve the problem. Although
It
maybe,
it all just ends up being like do we want to pass those kind of costs on to the customer to include a feature if we can somehow include the feature without costs,
true. That
right?
makes
I
sense.
mean, that's at least the way I'm thinking about it. And I don't think your idea is a bad one. I think it's a good idea to have a long preview wire, but I wonder if
Just buy.
it kind
But
of
Dave says just buy 10 long wires. It's easy.
yeah, that's an option. That is an option.
All right. Well,
Um,
I guess it's a skill issue. Okay.
uh,
Um. I-
Yeah, it is a good idea. But I think a stronger connection is at least a little higher priority for the time being. Oh yeah, and Daniel got here, by the way, if you want.
Hey, what's up?
Oh, hey,
Yep.
what's up, Daniel? Welcome, welcome.
Yeah.
All right,
But
so
yeah,
this looks good. Let's move on to another mode.
yeah, why not?
Ghost
Try.
Crush.
Yes, and now you have all 10 fingers because it's a single pixel pattern.
Okay. Impact. Have these changed? Have all of these changed since the first iteration of the vortex, or did you
Yes
change?
and no is the answer, unfortunately.
Okay.
So we tried to accommodate for this, but in the conversion from the old software, the old code base to the new one, the Vortex engine, we gained a surprising amount of efficiency. Well, surprising to me. uh, Daniel probably expected some efficiency, but yeah, we gained a lot of unexpected speed, and that made all of our previous pattern timings somewhat invalid uh, as one-to-one recreation. So when we took the one-to-one timings from the old set, they were being displayed far too quickly on this new engine.
Mm-hmm.
It means we can do things faster now, but it also means that we needed to retune all the patterns for the new settings or for the new speed efficiency, and we didn't necessarily touch ones like Jest mode because they were your creation, and it was, and besides trying to recreate it visually as best we could, um
That's
we the
difficult to do. Yeah. You weren't really
right,
sure. You can't really pull something out of my brain when you don't know for
right.
sure.
And there's a few patterns like that, but all the basic patterns from like strobe to hyperstrobe to dops ribbon, all those we tried to convert, and even if you don't like them, all you have to do is download the editor and fix it.
Well, I can tell you that what I have made here on
Mhm.
Jest mode is exactly what I was hoping to get out of the first one.
And
And
that
we
what
got close, but
yeah,
we didn't nail it. And
and
being
that's
able to just like kind of look at it myself, I'm like, all right, this is what I wanted.
yep. There's so many possibilities now that everyone will have this tool in it can have this tool in their hands and use it for exactly what you're talking about, not just programming a mode with code, but actually dialing in a mode to your exact preferences, even if that otherwise would be very difficult.
Yeah, I
um,
mean, I'm sitting here just like cutting down this gap as much as I can, and in a lot of these modes, and it's just like, yeah, that's much better. I'd use this now.
and previously you would have to be like, well, that's just not the pattern,
Right.
but now
So
any
you
pattern.
have these fields. Anytime
Mhm.
there's a difference in some of these modes have just different
All of them do.
fields. So what you're saying here is there's different, how do I say
E-
this? All the
each
different,
pattern,
go ahead.
uh, each pattern has its own unique fields,
Right.
but some of the patterns have the same set of unique fields.
So
Right.
what I'm trying to get to is where's the master list of all modes? It's just all of the ones that come preloaded, or
The drop down list above your color set.
drop down list above my
So
colors. Okay,
there,
there's the master list of all modes. Wow,
technically
okay,
that's
that's a
the
lot.
master list, but several of the patterns in that list are really the same core pattern, just with different timings.
Okay,
Right.
So
and
if you
that's,
want
yeah,
that
that's what I'm.
true master list, that true core master list, you have to look at the code. And really, we don't care to expose that, it doesn't matter. If you
Basically,
want to know, then sure.
the question that I'm leading up to is, how do I change the fields on specific modes that I want to do? And the answer is, well, you've already thought of that, and you have different names for the different fields on those modes,
Right.
basically.
Right.
Okay,
Exactly.
and that works for me. I think that's a good way of doing it. Ultimately, you just basically got to go through and see what.
How it works is if you wanted to create your own pattern, you basically have to fit into a format. And that format includes you have up to 8 inputs. So your pattern can take 8 different inputs, 8 different numerical inputs. And those could be, for example, the on timing, the off timing, the gap duration. It's up to you as the pattern creator to decide what each of those inputs is, or whether you even use them. So
Yeah.
some of the patterns, they only use 3 of the inputs, some of them use 2, some of them use 6, 7, right? You have up to 8 of them available, and it's up to the pattern developer to decide what they do.
Gotcha. So basically, any of these things can look the exact same with the same levels of flashes and whatnot, but the only true difference here is which of these fields you're choosing to use in order to change and make unique modes.
Entirely.
Not all patterns are the same thing at the core. Some of them are. For example, like DOPS, strobe, hyperstrobe, they're all the same thing at the core. But when you get into the multi-LED patterns, each
That's right.
multi-LED pattern is actually completely different.
Okay. Okay. That's
Or
cool.
most of them are almost entirely completely different. Some of them are derived from the same idea, but they're just different implementations of the same idea, like different timings. But a lot of them are just entirely different patterns that do entirely different things that have entirely different uses of those boxes.
That's
Yep.
amazing.
The
Well, I
the
love that.
overlap between unrelated patterns having the same fields is kind of coincidental,
Okay.
or
Okay.
due to the fact that almost every pattern wants a blink on and a blink off, at least one set of those timings. Except for the only pattern that doesn't have a blink off is ribbon, and it's still in the background. It does have one, just isn't
Yeah,
there.
it's just set to 0 for ribbon. It just doesn't
Yeah.
turn off.
All
Yeah.
right. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna go through the defaults and delete the ones that I for sure don't want to use, and the ones that I do want to use, I might make some adjustments to here.
Sure.
Because I'm the type of person who wants like 3-4 sets on my like modes
one.
on my set
Right.
at a time. Like too much is just overwhelming.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't need all 16.
Hmm.
It's just to show that it's possible.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
definitely cool that you can just load them up, but like I find it unnecessary. I end up going back to the same 2 or 3 most of the time anyways.
Same.
But obviously the possibilities are endless here, and the capabilities are pretty
And
impressive.
the nice part is you come up with, say, 2 or 3 modes that you want, right? You can save that as like your save file, right? This is this theme save file, and then you could make a different one, right? I always like the idea of having a mode or a save file that's like for impacting, where
Ooh.
the modes are actually set up in a way that the first mode has a solid thumb, the second mode has a blinking thumb, the third mode has an empty thumb. And when you click through the modes, it actually just looks like you're changing your thumb.
Oh,
That's
that's cool. That's a good
And
idea.
you just save the full, what is it, like 6 modes in a row,
Mhm.
or 3, 4 modes in a row as a save file. And now anytime you want to impact, you just load that save file and put it on your glove set.
That is smart.
Ah, clever. I love that. Another thing you can to note while you're doing some of these edits, not only can you group select LEDs, but you can actually copy and paste individual LED setups.
Yeah, it would be good for you to take a look at under edit, the edit menu where like file edit help in the top left. Under edit, you have a whole bunch of commands
Okay,
or things that can
hold on
edit
one
your
second
section.
before I do that. I'm gonna finish.
Makes sense.
I'm gonna make this this rainbow set real quick, and then we're gonna listening to exactly what you say so that I can do it at the same time. And
Wait. Are you putting in a rainbow? Don't do that
why?
Well,
because you don't need to. You could just do a random rainbow.
there is an option for that as well.
You can just
Oh,
randomize a rainbow and generate it.
well, I mean,
Edit
how do you
random
do
color
that?
set, random rainbow.
Well, but I want to do it on ultra dops. I like ultra dops. I want to.
Yeah, go to
Yeah,
what
the
do you
it's only gonna change the color set.
go to the edit
Top
menu,
left.
edit?
and then randomize color set.
Oh my god.
And it's
Okay.
gonna apply that to every single LED you have selected. Or you could just hit Control C and copy all of the settings for your current LED and paste them onto any other LED.
All right, guys. Pause. Cat reveal.
Cat reveal.
Cat reveal.
Meow.
There is a cat on the stream. This is Kyrie. She is an absolute menace. She is also a fluff and a very cute cuddler. She'll cuddle you for a long time until she decides that she is no longer interested, and then she'll run away and then complain that she is no longer getting attention and make it everybody's problem in the room. So she is 50% terrorist and 50% just a baby. So this is oh yeah, cat reveal. Well, this is the best stream ever. Best stream ever.
This is Riku. She hates it already.
No way. You have a Riku too?
Yeah.
We have Riku, we have Kyrie, and we have Roxas over here.
Oh my goodness.
We love
That's
it.
incredible. Riku, meet your cousin.
Riku.
You guys were in the same. Oh, and that, you know what? That's, I have to bring it up now. Last night, I beat Yuzora on critical mode. for the
No
first-
way.
I did. It took me several weeks.
We're
I was
having
very.
we're having a cat reveal. Do you want to come? Do you want to come on the stream? You can get a cat if you want. Oh, Riku can meet his counterpart. Did
Oh, you hear that?
did you his Shane's cat's named Riku too?
Yeah. She's a double Riku because she's Riku from Kingdom Hearts and Riku from Final Fantasy X.
Oh my goodness, double Riku. So we've got Riku and Kyrie, and you've got Riku. Riku meet Riku. Look at these
Hi,
kitties.
Riku. See? See? Oh wow. She's like, I hate this, but she's. Okay. I'll go put you back. Oh, that's so
All right.
cute.
All right, the cat reveal is over. All right, Kyrie. That was a excellent break. Well needed break.
That's why.
But no, that's cool. The ultra dops. I just wanted to kind of tune in the rainbow a little bit, but I guess it doesn't really matter because most of these colors are gonna come out looking the same anyways, aren't they?
Well, the difference is going to be in the rainbow randomizer. It will actually pick different saturations. No, I'm sorry, different brightness values.
Okay.
So your rainbow will be unbalanced. A perfect rainbow will have all the colors at max saturation or equal saturation value, equal brightness. Oh, excuse me. A normal rainbow has all the colors at equal brightness, but a random rainbow has random brightnesses for each color. So you could have a green tinted rainbow or
Wait a minute.
red.
Rainbow. Can I just?
It's automatic. It's random. What kind of tint?
Okay,
You can
but
keep on
so
doing
if I
it.
want a specific rainbow, I have to go in and change the hues or the saturations. Both?
Well, I mean, you can keep the hues it randomly picked, but you want the value to be brighter if you want a brighter color. It would be on that. Let me open mine so I can. Oh,
What's the way to get the brightest shine out of each color? What value are you playing with?
it should be the third one in
Luminance?
Yeah, it might be luminance.
And
instead
what
of
is the highest value?
255 or no 240, right?
255 for luminance. Hue is up to 240. For whatever
Weird.
reason. It's because they need hue to be okay. So
Nope,
in this
it's
case,
240.
Is it 240?
It
Full
looks-
luminance is
it's-
going to give you
it's-
white. You don't want that. It's really just your slider on the right. You don't need to change the luminance. You just need to move the slider on the right side and decide what you choose. Because there's no full luminance really. I mean, the full would be in the
White.
middle.
Yeah, full is middle. He's right. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
okay, but I guess I'm confused at.
So see the slider on the very far right side, the one that looks like white to black?
Yeah.
Yeah. You want that at 120 for the maximum
You
lumen.
want that to be in the center. Yeah, exactly. It should be at 120.
Okay, so you want to get the brightest flash out of the machine. You want it
Yes.
at 120. You don't want it at 240. You want it at
Well,
120.
Yeah, you're just gonna get white if you do that.
Okay.
But I think in our version of it, it'll just be a value slider instead of a value and saturation, because that's really what it is in this version, which is
Okay.
not as.
So no matter where I drag my thing, it's gonna still give us
Yeah.
the 240.
Yes.
Yeah. You're right. That's correct.
Okay.
Windows made this tool, not us.
Interesting.
But that's why we're remaking it to be better for us.
Will be better, faster, stronger,
A little more
agile.
intuitive, a little more geared towards producing the results that LED users are trying to get instead of this is supposed to be for paint and everything else.
What we'll have to solve the kind of problem that he has right now, he's like, I want a random rainbow, but I want it brighter. That'll get solved when we have a proper randomizer tool. Right now, it's just edit, randomize, generate a randomization. We will have in the future tools. Under tools, there will be the color picker. There's going to be a few other tools that we're thinking about, and one of them is going to be randomizer. And that'll let you pick parameters like, say, I want to randomize like this, but I want it to be within this brightness, or I want to randomize this number of colors with this color theory. And that'll really unlock what you can generate without having to think about it.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I think knowing that having luminance at 240 is an important, just such an important thing to know about when you're picking colors in this thing right now in order to get the most out of.
Yeah, like you said, our slider when we remake it, it's gonna just go to, instead of being white in there, when you make it max, when they make the slider all the way up, it's gonna be
The equivalent
luminance
of
that you're selecting. It's gonna be the full luminance rather than changing it into white like it is on the one that you're using.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is really weird.
It is very weird. Yeah, they basically took a saturation slider and put it butt up against a value slider. So the saturation goes from 0 saturation to full at the bottom, and the value goes from 0 value to full at the top. And so right in the middle is the only place with full saturation and full brightness. It's
really weird.
It is a
so, what other things did we talk about, or have you talked about? Because I joined late in the edit menu. Because he's got the hotkeys.
Yeah, that was the first time we talked about the edit menu, the copy and paste when I mentioned it a little earlier, and the randomize color set just now.
So under edit, you have undo, redo,
right?
Copy LED, paste LED. Clear color set is a hotkey. So if you just want to quickly get rid of your color set, Control Shift D will clear all the colors. Copy color set, so you can copy just the color set from one LED to another. You can copy, without the pattern or without anything else, or you can copy the full details of the LED, everything, the pattern, the color set, and the parameters to another LED.
Interesting.
And those are all hotkeys, right? So it should make quick editing, right? Quick. Your undo, I think we talked about last time. The undo buffer it'll keep going forever. So everything you do from the time you open the editor till now is recorded as history, and you can just hold down Control Z and it'll go all the way back.
So why is this throwing two different images to me right now?
Because there's 2 pixels per finger, and you've only adjusted the first.
This would be a good time to copy the LED. Because you're only selecting on pinky tip. Copy pinky tip with Control C, and then select the rest and Control V, or however you want to paste it.
You want to put the rainbow thing on.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, it's so much better. It's so much better.
There you go.
All right, that's what I was looking for. That is exactly what I was looking for. Now it is a bright menace of a rainbow with a nice, beautiful blue tint instead of that obnoxious,
Whatever tint it had before.
whatever tint it had before.
We just get
It
somebody else.
was
to
yellow backrooms-esque tint is what it was. Don't like it. I don't like it. All right, now it's good.
Yeah.
Materia set. What does Materia set do?
Oh yeah, Materia had his own. Oh yeah, right. He had a really interesting.
It changed. Why did it change?
What changed?
Materia set.
Right. That's what I was getting into.
That's what it does. It changes.
So it's a very odd concept, but really cool in practice. What it does is it doesn't display the entire color set at once. It slowly cycles one color in and one color out of the color set every like 8 or so seconds, which I think is the last timer. It should be 80 or something like that.
80, yeah.
So that 80 is times 100, as you see in the, and 80 times 100 is 8,000, which is 8,000 milliseconds, which is 8 seconds.
Gotcha.
So yeah, so every multiple of 10 you put in that box is another second. That's just the best way to give the most granular control.
So each one is a microsecond.
And that's just because we can't. The numbers that can actually go in those boxes can only go up to 255. We just simply, the way the system works, it won't support numbers bigger than 255. So if you want to have like a timing like 10,000, you just have to use a multiplier.
Well, let me get the chat to smash the like button and hit the share button for your guys' awesome work here. So obviously, do whatever you can to share the stream and let these guys know that you appreciate them building literally the Unreal Engine of light shows.
We have a guest.
We have a guest. Look, we have a person. Welcome, Taj, aka the color dude, the chroma guy, the chroma deity. The chromatic. I had something for this, and my brain just went dead, so it's fine. Listen.
No, I'm just glad to be here. We were talking earlier before the stream started, so I'm glad to be back.
He's back. All right. So what is the next? What was the thing I was telling you to hold that thought, and then we got into the random color, random rainbow.
Were you asking about what is materia mode?
You wanted to copy paste the LED?
Is that what it was? No, because we copy and pasted all those already.
Yeah, we did.
But when you were, I was fidgeting with this rainbow, and you were like, nah, just go to random rainbow, and then we got into an entire side tangent about the luminance and the rainbow and the copy paste and all that, and you were gonna go through and you're gonna have me do something before that, and I don't remember what it was.
You did it.
I think you did do it, but you wanted to increase the brightness on them. You did generate a random rainbow. It was just too dim, which, to be fair,
no. Before it was, see, it's gone. It's just gone now. Nobody remembers because it was before that, and it's just entirely gone now. My bad. All right, that's fine. We'll move on to the next thing. I'm gonna find another one of these modes to change, and what we can do is at any time I can just go into the master control and change something, right? The master list here and change what's lighthouse.
Another pattern.
So I believe JJ did some stuff too, right? Jet plane.
He tweaked. He worked on impact mode, which is kind of one of the redundant modes now because impact mode is something. Well, it's called impact mode. It's not really made for impacting. It was what I imagined impacting was before I knew better. The idea of impact mode is now it's a mode where different LEDs have different patterns on it, which is something you can do in any mode. Just was just doing it just now with like a Ghost Crush mode where he had every pixel slightly different for a moment, but then he copy pasted them to make them match. Impact mode is one of the modes you can create using by selecting individual pixels and setting them to do different things, like the thumbs doing something impacty, or the mids doing something else, and then the tops all doing something.
If a mode has only one thing that all 10 fingers do. It just only says pinky tip, and then that hits
Right.
for everything, right?
That's correct. And you'll notice the differentiator between those is whether or not the mode has an asterisk next to it in the list.
Gotcha. Okay, so the asterisks are single,
It's
are
kind of
are
like
standards and versus.
The other way around.
other
Asterisks
way.
are multi.
Okay, asterisks are multi and
So
others are
yeah,
single.
the ones
Gotcha.
without asterisks, those you can think of it as you can apply those individually to each LED,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
that's all they do is they just control one LED. The ones with the asterisks, they've actually got logic. They've got steps in their pattern that will
Theater
control
Chase.
different LEDs at different times.
I
Right.
remember
It's a-
Theater Chase. Remember making Theater
Right.
Chase? Theater Chase is dope.
Yep. Theater Chase is dope, and it needs some timing tweakings, I imagine.
So that's actually something that the wired Vortex glove set is unique in that no other glove set can do a multi-LED pattern. You
Right.
cannot have a color that chases from your pinky to your thumb and back to your pinky synchronized between your LEDs, between your microlights. You can only do it if you have one brain controlling all the LEDs. So it's something that really the wired glove set, it's the only place you can have something like this where you have multi LED patterns that can do complex flashing things that allow them to think together rather than individually.
The only other way to attempt that system is with some sort of wireless communication, which is not small enough and too power hungry to fit in a fingertip format.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. Not for a long. Actually, I mean, I've seen some pretty impressive low energy Bluetooth modules that are getting smaller, but it's still not small enough.
I'm pretty impressed
Um,
with the undo function.
Right?
Very
It
simple, but
so-
I'm a simple man, so
it's
It was necessary. We had to have it.
it makes sense. It works. The reason it's in every single program you've ever used is because people need to undo.
people need to undo.
And then
It's
undo
just a
their undo
fact.
with the region.
Vortex wipe. Is this the chroma wheel? No, you have chroma wheel. Where's chroma wheel? Or is this chroma wheel?
Vortex wipe is it's a sort of a circular fill. It fills across the tips and then back or across the tops and then back across the tips. So it's kind of wrapping around your hand in a circle, but it's just filling one color around in that circle and then the next color and then the next color and then the next color.
Mm.
That's
Hard,
not
hard to explain.
yeah. Yeah, I guess
No,
that
I
probably
see.
wasn't.
I see how it's happening here. Do you
Might be
isn't chroma wheel something I'm remembering right, or is that a different universe that I slipped into?
it might be, but check out hue shift because it might be what you're looking
Hue shift, man, this is a different universe. Fuck that. Where's hue shift? I don't see it. There it is.
It looks like I gotta get my hands on some vortexes. This looks fun.
Yes. We're getting to the point where
I don't think this is quite what I was looking for. Don't you remember there was a mode that would, if you think about a color wheel, right?
Mhm.
And then it would pick, you'd have 3 colors on it and it would cycle, it would spin.
blend.
That's
That's-
blend.
Yes.
Okay.
And I highly recommend you check out complementary blend as well. Because
That's
blend,
the one.
technically
That's
it
the
is
one.
hue shift.
Complementary blend, because complementary blend is the one where it goes.
It blinks to the complement, the opposite side of the color wheel. That's why it's called
Yes.
complementary. You could actually create, for example, triadic blend, where it blinks to the other third of the color wheel, and then the other third after that, and then back to
Right.
the original. You could keep going up with color theory, right? You have triadic, square, pentatic, just picking points around the color wheel.
Okay, let's try that. Edit, random pattern, random color.
So
Triadic.
complementary blend actually looks best with RGB. Though
Yeah,
due
it
to the
does.
way blend works,
Yeah,
it
you're
just
right.
happens. It just always looks best with RGB for some reason.
R-
Or any 3 evenly spaced colors. If they're evenly
G.
spaced in hue, then it'll always look good.
There's
G.
probably other subsets that would also look really interesting, but you would have to discover them and they're going to be very specific. like how RGB is a triangle, essentially.
So you don't actually have exactly RGB there. If you did, it would the text would say FF0000 for red, 00FF00 for green, and
Mhm.
0000FF for blue. So you don't have exactly red, green, blue, but you've got pretty close, which I think it'll work fine.
I don't think
think you
it's
need to
doing the
redo
thing
it.
right though. It's just throwing me a
You only
normal.
changed one
Oh,
LED.
now I see it. Never mind. Nope, nope, no,
You
no,
only
no.
changed
I
the
see.
pinky
No, it's
tip.
doing it right. The whole thing is doing it right. I
It's hard to remember.
forgot that it was gonna be throwing me two colors at once, not
Yeah,
not.
it's gonna
Yeah, I see what it's doing.
red, green, blue basically means cycle through the full rainbow.
Mhm.
If you don't use red, green, blue, then it kind of it'll like cycle to a color and then backwards. It's a very it's not really a pattern meant to change the color set. I think it's just good the
Sort.
way it is.
Yeah, some that we. Yeah, that's fair.
How do I?
You want true blue?
Yeah, how do I find
In
those?
the bottom right, see you got red, green, blue text boxes.
Make them
Yeah.
0, 0, and
Yeah.
240.
Yeah, 0. You want to turn off red and green, and make
Oh, I
255
see.
blue.
I see what you're saying. Okay. Turn
Or
off
turn
blue.
off. Yeah, make them 0 to turn them off, and 255 to make them max.
Gotcha.
Or 240 or whatever.
Red, green, blue is 255.
Gotcha.
Q
Nailed it.
HSV will be 240.
Dude,
Nailed it.
255 just reminds me of like Pokemon, where you can just like do the effort values.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah,
Yeah,
there's a
because it's
reason
That's
that's complicated.
funny. Oh my goodness, I never put that together. I knew I was I knew I was seeing that
There's
from
a
somewhere.
very, very good reason for 255 appearing
Yes.
everywhere.
Yeah.
It's not just a coincidence.
Yeah.
There's a very, very, very explicitly strict reason for why it appears everywhere in programming. There's some other numbers that also
Is
appear
this-
everywhere, but you just don't notice.
Excuse me, is this Raven reboot? This
That
looks
was
like
the
Raven.
idea.
This
I
looks like
believe
Raven
JJ
reboot.
I believe JJ's responsible for that particular.
All right, well, I
and
guess
Yeah, I remember when he was making that originally.
I'm required to keep that on there. All right, so far I've got a jest mode, which I'm digging, which I might have to change it a little bit because it's throwing a white at me, which is slightly giving me backrooms yellow vibes, but it's fine for now.
Try turning your global brightness down. See if it looks better. Sometimes when it's too bright, you get white in the colors.
Well, I'm getting white because of this the specific colors that I chose, and I think it's throwing the yellow a little more. Yeah, the luminance on the yellow is a little higher than the others, so I'm gonna turn that down, and we'll see if that fixes it.
Well, yeah, like the way you achieve white on RPG is like maxed out red, green, and blue. So if your color set, it's like there's the beauty of the math there is if you add up to 252 with your numbers, and you balance out the RGB values, you'll get a white tint every time, no matter what.
Yes. Yes. Because it's going to deliver equal intensity to each individual red, green, blue diode, and then eventually they're just going to add up to white.
Yep, there we go. That is a better tinting. But what if I wanted it to be?
There was a theory back in the day that I was trying to work on that just never came to fruition, and it was like, so if red, green, blue make white at max values, I wonder what other combination of colors can I do at the donation of like 3 or 4 that can also add up to white tint without messing with the brightness control at all. And then I think
any triangle.
Yep, any triangle can do it. And I experimented to a point where I was like, I wonder what 2 colors can achieve that, and there's only one. It was like on Spectra, it was called T and mauve, or however you say it. And if you have those max valued out, it becomes white. And I was just like, well, this just like changes everything for me. Like the whole math game just changed.
Yeah, you could only pick, like, you only had certain colors to pick from, so picking 2 that actually happened to be opposite each other and add up to white is like virtually impossible or very unlikely. But in this case, you can really just pick any color. In fact, there's a randomizer that has random complementary, and it'll just generate 2 complementary colors for you that are opposite.
Which is great.
Yeah, color theory is cool.
Oh, it's so cool, especially when you want to make nice color sets. It's mandatory to understand the basic. It's really not complicated. Like if you type in color theory and you look at images, you'll literally see a bunch of really self-explanatory images.
So,
It's
just
not
going
even just that
over.
anymore. You can like AI can just do it for you now. You can use
I
Oh
like
yeah.
nailed it. Okay, so I
ChatGPT
found
and
a way to
it's
make it a
amazing.
purplish tint.
Ooh, yep. Make the purple a little higher than the other colors. And then
Well, it's not as simple as that. You gotta actually bring down all the other colors below 120. You gotta bring all the other colors luminance
like 100.
besides the two colors, the one or two colors that you want to be.
Sure.
Yeah. Otherwise, because if you make the luminance above 120, like you said,
Right.
it doesn't
I'm
give you the specific tint that you're looking for. It just switches back to white.
right. In this version of it, luminance is really just a horrible concept. It's truly a combination of saturation and value, and I'm talking about raising only the value, which is
Hmm.
relative to the rest, lowering the value. So
Hmm.
once you go past 120, you're no longer talking about value. That's why we're getting rid of that.
All right.
So
So, what's your favorite mode, or what's your favorite?
kind of like warp worm. I'm really into that one. You've
Okay.
already got selected.
Yeah, that's the one
Yeah,
I had
I really
selected. I
like
was
that one.
literally about to change the warp worm to the one you
Yeah,
named, but I'm glad you said
yeah.
warp worm. All right. So, it looks like it's doing something. That's for
Got like
sure.
a color set on it.
So let's do randomized color set.
Yeah, yeah. Randomize like a
Random
square or
color
a
set.
pentatic maybe.
Pentatic.
That's a 5.
Okay. It feels like there's a blank in there somewhere. Oh no, because the one of them's just so unluminous
Mm-hmm.
that
Just delete
it's.
it, right click it. Yeah.
No, I'll just
You
bring it up.
can.
Just bring it up.
Hold
Sure.
on. Is that a
Mhm.
brown? Ree!
That's what's so funny is like brown doesn't exist. It's all orange.
Yeah.
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 It's just like you can't make black light with a LED.
Yeah,
You
I
just turn
don't.
it.
Yeah, I remember like 6, 7 years ago, I would argue with people like, "Oh, we need brown in our colors." I was like, "For what?
Like
Like, why?"
I think it's important for people to know that the sweet spot for luminance is between 90 and 130. Anything beyond that, you're not going to be getting the colors that you really want, unless you're like really looking for something dim.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But hopefully we'll have that new part ready. So like by the time people come to view this video later, it might even be already fixed. No longer an issue.
You hear that, future people? By the time you're watching this is already obsolete. Just like the rest of technology. Yeah.
So there was some other things that we wanted to bring up. I think
Hmm.
you saw
Mhm.
it quickly on the website when you were downloading the editor.
Yes.
Um,
Briefly. Why don't we dig into that?
yeah, why don't we go take a look at that?
Okay, hang on one
What you
second.
should do is finish up your mode and then hit push. So it actually saves what you've done to the glove set because what you're doing right now, it's it's not saved on the glove set.
No,
It's really just a
I did
preview.
that. I did the push.
Yep.
I've actually been pushing periodically because I know
Mhm.
how editing and technology works. It stops randomly periodically on me for absolutely no reason and for reasons that the developers say shouldn't exist.
Yeah,
Well,
and
yeah.
if you ever want to save your progress without having to overwrite your device because you're not sure it's final yet, you can still save Control S as a vortex file.
Love that. Okay, so I've pushed. This is now my glove set. I have Jest mode. Let's show it off. Here's Jest mode.
Hmm.
There's my warp worm. There's my rainbow ultra dops. There's my materia mode, which I actually don't think I changed at all. So shout outs materia. Actually, we should probably change that. We're gonna go ahead. We're gonna go ahead and delete materia mode. Sorry, materia. Complementary blend, which is your favorite. I like it a lot too. And then rabbit, which is
That's nice.
required
That's for
reading.
me.
If you don't know what this mode is, go read a history book. There's only one of them in existence. You can buy it from me.
Yeah, that's really cool. Rabbit is another mode that is technically redundant now because all you have to do is set one setting to the tops and one setting to the tips
Mm-hmm.
when manually setting each individual setting. But they've carried over from the original code base because we didn't want to make it look like they disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
But now they're just an example of what you can do with the editor to a much greater degree of complexity.
Yeah, they also exist as example code. So if people want to come and write code into Vortex Engine and write new patterns, it's very helpful if there's lots of pre-existing patterns for them to read and learn how they work and learn how to do it themselves.
Love
Even if
that.
those patterns aren't really useful anymore.
Love that. Okay, so
But
now
it-
I have 5 modes on my glove set. Mode
Perfect.
0, Jest mode. That's what's up. You know how it is. Um, what was the next thing we were gonna do? You wanted us to go back to your website?
Yeah,
back-
so um one of the big things with Vortex Engine is we've been developing it since what, April? I
yeah.
think is when Vortex Engine started, this rewrite of Vortex Engine. And then from the time that the editor did not exist yet, right up until the first release of the editor to the internal development team, it was only 10 days.
Yep. So
Because all we had to do was take the Vortex engine we wrote over the previous year and just wrap the editor around it. It was all done and everything was ready for us. And what we can do with that, and what we can use the Vortex engine to do, is just an example here. What we're calling the Vortex glove emulator is basically a virtual glove.
yes.
Wait a minute.
And
Hot.
Yep. Yep.
Yep. A full version. So go ahead, download it, open it. It might
yeah,
give you
yeah, go ahead and download it and let's take a look. You
Oh wait,
may get the security warning.
I did, and then I hit the wrong button. Run anyway. Here we
Yeah,
go.
I
What?
I was messing with this before I hopped on, and it's actually really insane.
This is crazy.
So what you have are you have control over the tick rate of the glove, and that's so that you can actually visualize patterns at lower tick rates. And then you have a pattern strip generated on the bottom. We intend that the pattern, the pattern strip will move eventually. You'll be able to click it and drag it. You can click individual LEDs, the circles, and it'll generate the pattern strip for that LED. So if you have a multi-LED pattern that displays different things on each LED, you can click on the LED and see the pattern strip for that LED.
Guys, this is fucking
Um,
crazy. This is
and
absolutely nuts.
now
Yeah.
this is just a glove set. This is literally just the Vortex glove set. There's nothing special about it. You can hold the button and open the menus.
Just like a normal glove set. It's like a real glove set. And then
Like a kid in the candy store right now. Yep,
do you have the editor still open?
And yeah, do you have the editor still open? Because it will connect to the editor. So you
Wait,
don't
what?
have to purchase. Yeah, it'll connect to the editor and be just like a real glove set.
So you could go and make modes on the virtual editor without having a glove
Yes.
set, and then when you buy your glove
Yes.
set, you can just download them.
That's
The
correct.
goal
Yes.
isn't really to
That's
allow people to make modes, but actually just to allow people to
that's
try
so
the
crazy.
editor.
That's so
You can try the
crazy.
editor. You can try the Vortex software. So open up the purple menu and hold down on the purple menu.
The
Yeah,
purple
like
menu.
Go
Okay,
to purple and then hold down on it, and you
Gotcha.
should see it connect right away.
click.
Will it steal the connection from his other set? Or
No,
will you have to disconnect first?
no, it's fine. There. Now select port 0 from your drop down in the editor.
Yeah, go to the editor, port 0.
Okay, it's on.
Yep.
Oh, wait,
It's pretty nice, huh?
wait, it won't let me
Please.
change it.
Full.
Oh, okay. You may have to.
Again, I think. He has
Okay. Yeah, I would restart. So the virtual glove is something that we just kind of threw together. It was
Okay.
not actually something that we planned to release. It was actually originally a test program used
Yeah.
for us to do internal development.
So at this
to
point,
test
sorry
out
to interrupt you, but at this point, I can literally just unplug this, and it'll be fine,
Yes.
right? Okay.
It'll be fine. Yep.
And then now it just auto deport 0.
Yeah.
And now can I pull?
You should be able to pull.
And now I pulled. And now I pulled. I pulled. We pulled. Ladies and
If you
gentlemen,
click
we pulled.
push. Oh, there you go. Yeah. And so it's the exact same. If you click on the modes, it's going to demo them on the virtual glove.
That's amazing. That's so cool, dude.
It's
Bro, what the fuck?
and yeah, this one, what we only worked on it this week. We had a lot of it left over from development that we
Yeah, so it was just like a
So
test program that was left over from development, and then we just took a picture of a glove and slapped it on there, and then and then moved the dots around to line up with the fingers.
Dude,
So
this is
I
the
have some fun history for you guys. When OSM was doing OSM 2, we were
Mm.
trying to do a visual editor kind of like this, but instead of a glove, we kind of used like the piano portion, like you guys have at the bottom,
Mm.
to wave instead.
Yeah. Yeah. The pattern strip, we call it.
this is
Yeah.
I forgot what we called it back then, but we had something similar, but we definitely did not have the visual glove. We just kind of like had like the piano. It's kind of like watching the audio, like the
Yeah,
bar,
it's like
like the
music.
bar.
It's like sheet music. Yep.
Exactly.
And yeah, we do plan to make that move. It's gonna slide as the pattern changes. So you should be able to see like a visual moving of the pattern strip. And what else was there?
The orbit.
Oh yeah,
Or-
you have the same thing for an orbit. So
Right.
it's a virtual orbit. It's the exact same software, but instead of a glove, it's a picture of an orbit, and it would effectively do the same thing. You'll be able to connect it to the editor.
Okay, so I updated the UF2 on my other pad here, my other
Mhm.
hand. What do we call these again?
Packs.
Packs?
Something. Yeah, glove pack.
Mothership, my motherboard.
Sure.
um.
The computer.
Anyways, it's the teal that is the color send, right?
Yes, that is correct, and that should work. Even if you customize the timings.
Okay,
everything-
question. Do I have to do it set by set? How do I send the whole thing?
It's individual sets, mode slots
Okay.
for the time being.
So, in order to do this more efficiently, the best way to do this would be then to plug in the one that I'm would be to save from the
Yeah. You could either pull it to the editor and then push it to the new glove. Pull from the old glove and push to the new glove, or you can create a save of the old glove and then push it to either glove.
So your port's not going to show up until you go into the purple menu.
Yep,
now,
I'm working on it. There we go.
which it should be smooth as butter now. As
There,
soon as
yep,
you enter the
yep,
purple menu,
we got
it'll
it.
open up, and as soon as you leave, it'll disappear.
We got it. So
Yep.
now if I go and save a file,
Right.
and I can save this, modes back up to documents, sure, that's fine. And then if I exit, if I pull this, oh, but it's gonna keep it open. That's
Yeah.
cool too. I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that too. So I don't really need to save, it's just a redundancy.
Sure.
But if I then
Well-
go and open the purple menu in the other one, gotta turn it on first, that's required. Purple menu. And push, right?
Yep.
Push.
Once you're connected. Old Dave asked if he can load a UF2 to the virtual glove.
No.
No, UF2s are explicitly for updates now, and the save files are entirely independent, which means they're a lot more flexible, and it's better off in the long run.
Okay.
You won't be able to do the drag and drop sharing the same way. You just have to use the editor as an intermediate.
That worked perfectly. It is important to note that when you plug in and you hit the purple, it is, as you said, it's already there. You don't have to hit pull in order to connect it. The pull pulls the modes. So if you're trying to keep whatever's on your screen on the thing, hit push instead of pull. Otherwise, it's not going to work, and you're going to have to start over.
Right.
So you don't even really like need to hit push or pull, right? The idea is the editor is itself a glove set. Think of it as a glove itself, and when you have it plugged into another glove, all it's doing is just telling that other glove what to show. But it's not actually saving anything to that glove unless you hit push.
Awesome. Well,
So
that
if you see the add and delete at the bottom, you can add new modes. You don't even have to have a glove connected to do that. You can just create a whole set of modes without a glove and then push to any gloves.
Yeah, you can just launch the editor and start hitting add and creating modes and filling out the patterns and the color sets. It doesn't have to be connected to anything.
well, that
Yeah.
is amazing. We
Oh,
have
Dave, so, yeah, the data is now separate from the code. That is exactly what it is, and it's much better. Sorry.
no, that's wonderful. We have managed to make, customize, edit, and retool 5 color sets in under an hour. And
And
that's amazing. It would used to take a couple of hours to click program through
I
And
just
never
to
used to
just to
program my modes.
just to customize.
Yep.
I
Amazing.
have like a pair of gloves
Progress.
that I programmed all my color sets into them maybe like 2014, and I haven't changed it since.
That's reasonable.
Yeah.
That's understandable. That's kind of what I did too. Is I would use what I liked, and that's it.
Right.
It's
Because
not worth my
programming's
time
not
to sit
fun.
there. No, to sit there clicking individual buttons 20 times over, like it's not fun at all. And I'm hoping that this will make it fun again.
And by the time you finish programming your lights, they're dead.
True.
Yeah.
You gotta change
True.
your batteries. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've personally murdered more batteries than I would like to admit.
that are like half charged because they're dim and you have to throw them out and then
Mhm.
replace them.
Yeah, I think
Gnarly.
at the time when I was super hardcore programming lights, I think I burned through like 20K batteries in like a week.
Wow.
20,000.
I had a big tub of half either like dead or half charged batteries, and I took them to a battery recycling place. And the guy looked at me like, "What the fuck?" Because he's like, "You're supposed to individually bag each one of these because they're
Ha.
lithium batteries and they can cause a fire by touching each other." And I just kind of looked at him and I'm like, "I'm really sorry."
Doug, I had the equivalent of a homemade bomb in my bedroom for years because I had them in glass jars for just piled in glass
Wow.
jars.
I've got that in my room right now.
So anyways, I definitely got rid of all those. Don't worry, YouTube. It's fine.
Recycled properly.
Yes,
Definitely
correct.
not domestic terrorists, we promise.
We promise.
Oh gosh, I didn't think. Oh.
Don't worry, YouTube. It's fine. Anyways, this is honestly iconic work, gentlemen. I'm pretty satisfied with my color sets. I'm pretty satisfied with the understanding of how everything works. We managed to get through everything in under an hour and a half, which is just amazing. I remember last time being a little confusing to me just because every time I'd get to try to do something, it would disconnect on me. That's not an issue anymore. I still have, 9,000 wires plugged into my computer, and it's like, nah, we know what to communicate with. So that's good. Everything's fixed up. Everything works properly.
The old approach, anytime any new device was plugged in or unplugged, the editor would just refresh all of its connections, which meant if you were connected, it would disconnect and you'd have to connect again.
Yep.
I was just doing the lazy approach to get it done and then coming back to fix it later, and now it's fixed.
Well, we're happy to see that it's fixed.
Spoken
It
like a
works
true
from-
developer. Hey,
Twice.
That is how it works, though. Honestly, it's you gotta make the foundation before you can really do anything great. We got a noob in the lobby saying, "Is this a new chip, or what are you using?" This is called the Vortex wired glove set. It uses basically a motherboard and wires in order to really in-depth control every aspect of the flashes, the timings, and the programming of your lights. They're completely open source. Their programming platform is called the Vortex platform, and that's what we're talking about here today. That's this thing. You can edit everything on this thing. It's pretty crazy, and honestly, if you are interested in it, go check it out at
StoneOrbits.com.
stoneorbits.com.
where's the promo code at, guys? You gotta plug in the promo code there.
Stone doesn't do promo codes, But that's okay because every dollar that you spend at Stone Orbits is a dollar that is going to be sunk back into research and development of cool light toys. Like this dude is the actual cheese when it comes to R&D. He built an orbit that basically revolutionized the orbit market. He's building a glove set that's revolutionizing the gloving market. My guy is the absolute big cheese.
Thanks. Yeah, I love fun toys, and we deserve to have them. And they don't. It sucks when they just freeze in place for decades.
Yeah,
So
that's correct. And we used to have a company that did things, and now they died. So rest in peace. But
It's really
rest in
interesting
pieces.
because when we think about pre-wires like back in the day to where we are now,
Mhm.
like the transition between pre-wires to
These
It's
are
the- it's
these
the
these
direct
are
contact
post
with
wires,
the
okay?
bulb. Yeah.
Let me
How the
tell you what.
cool stuff
These
is.
are not these are no pre-wires. These are no pre-wires. These are straight up either wires or post wires, okay? That's
It's
what I
like-
want to tell
That's
you.
what I'm saying. Like if we really think about it, like we went from like that to like chips, not even chips. We had lights that just did direct contact with the bulb
Mhm.
with the battery, and then we had microchips, and then the microchips came back to its origins right here with the wire.
right, and the idea was to do wires the right way, because pre-wires they are fragile and limited in the sense that once they're broken, your set is broken. But these wires are replaceable and removable,
Everything's
and
modular.
so durable that we actually have to make some development choices to make them last less long, not to make them die sooner, but to make them operate better at the cost of like one of they haven't broken yet. They just haven't broken yet.
They're
So
doing pretty good. Honestly, yeah. I haven't had any issues with my wires
Yeah,
breaking.
little fun
Just
fact.
yanking.
Futuristic lights before they became futuristic lights used to be called infinity lights, and infinity lights at the time were creating what the vortex is right now. But
mm,
at the time, this was like what 6, 7 years ago. So like at the time, the technology just wasn't there yet. So it was interesting to like hear that vortex is finally doing what FO originally wanted to do, and they just never did because of just too much research and
Constraints.
development cost at the time. So
yeah,
Well,
that's
that's why I'm
it's
saying
nice
this
to see
man's the
it's nice
cheese
to
when it
see
comes to
that the
R&D.
technology finally advanced.
right. None of these ideas are like truly original. Put a wire on an LED to make it better. But once you iterate them to the right functional place, that's when the idea starts to show its potential. I think.
Yes.
It really used to be like, oh, you have a pre-wired set. Now
Yeah.
it's like, now it should be like, oh, you have a pre-wired set. Like, oh shit.
Almost a rewired set.
Dude,
It's a
Like,
rewired
this is like
set.
the
That's what
equivalent
I
of
was
Yeah,
the
it's
saying.
guy in the Honda
rewired.
Civic with a laptop. You know what I mean?
If
Right.
I may come back to that statement, Shane, I still think that you can name this glove set the Vortex Rewired glove set because the platform being the Vortex kind of makes everything confusing when you have the Vortex orbit, the Vortex gloves, and the Vortex platform in and of itself.
Well, that's what the update is partially going to is partially addressing, because they're all running and revolving around the same Vortex engine. So the engine is made to go in many different Vortex devices or Vortex vehicles. One of which is the orbit, one of which is the gloves. So basically, once this system is more mature, you'll see that there's the Vortex engine, the Vortex system, like the Vortex infrastructure, and
Yeah.
which node are you using? Are you using the glove Vortex or using the orbit Vortex? It'll just go back to being a glove and an orbit, and it'll all be Vortex.
I suppose that makes sense.
It starts to make sense once everything's in place.
Once
But it,
Yeah,
once everything lands where it's supposed to be, then it starts making sense.
we're calling them vortex devices.
Vortex
Devices.
devices,
Yeah,
gotcha.
I
Because
can't wait for the Vortex like engine to work on my Tesla or something.
I'm telling you,
I
bro, Vortex
mean,
lightsaber, I want one.
there's no reason that it couldn't. It really could compile for anything.
hey, that's what we want to get it on
Yeah.
web.
Yeah, so if you can send me your Tesla, I'll work on that.
You send me
Oh,
your
okay, funny
Tesla, I'll
Daniel.
work on it, my man's.
Me and Shane were talking before the stream started, and I was like, "Hey, have you thought about doing machine learning and then having the community hub like extrapolate all that data and then creating a randomizer off that. It would be like a community randomizer. What are your thoughts on that?
Interesting. Be very interesting. I think what you'd find is that you're not necessarily going to get better results than just a regular
Yeah,
randomizer.
no, it just
I
occurred
think
to me that
Yeah.
you might be absorbing data points that you don't want. Not everything on the community hub is good. In fact, most of it's bad. What you would want to do is put in a couple of good, like what you'd want to do is you'd want to take a page out of AI art and focus on a few people who are known to have good sets, analyze their sets, and then
Maybe.
and then put that information into the machine learning because yeah, no, most people don't make good sets. I'm gonna just be honest with you.
Hey Shane, do you want the ions or what?
The ions, like what, like a set of them.
Their randomizer.
I feel like we've incorporated it.
Yeah,
Not
you guys have
eventually,
nailed it pretty much. Like
but
everything we talked about has been like pretty much implemented. I was just as like a
right.
quick
I
joke.
mean, I would. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, no, there's no such thing as like too much options. Well, I
what
guess
I
there is, but
what I always
There
kind
can
of
be.
wanted was right now the randomizer on the glove set, the white menu, it just randomizes the pattern and it picks a random color theory to use and then uses that color theory to generate a random color set. So you're getting like random, random, random.
right. But
In
organized.
reality, you could have three different styles of randomizers. You could have a color set randomizer, a pattern randomizer, and like a full randomizer. And a color set randomizer is really nice because you can just set a pattern or set patterns on each finger, and then just randomize the color set, and it'll apply to all the fingers and keep the same pattern. And you can just click through and see all these different color sets cycling on the same patterns that you've chosen.
Or vice
Uh,
versa.
yeah, or vice versa. So I think that would be like a good direction to go, and that would be a good way to improve randomization. But if we have the editor and like a randomizer tool, suddenly that all just becomes obsolete.
And I think the most important feature of what you suggested is the actual database itself, the marketplace where people can go to find and share their creations.
Yeah, I think that is probably the biggest thing that we are going to be doing that has not been done yet.
Mhm.
And if anybody is a web developer that's watching this, please reach out. I know how to do web development. I know web languages. I've made small websites here and there, but I am no serious web developer, and I don't make serious
Well. What do
websites.
we have here? A web developer in the call.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean that would be fantastic if you want to help out. I'd I'd like to what we can do is if anyone's familiar, there's something called WebAssembly. Um, WebAssembly is we can take the Vortex engine, what we've written for the Vortex device, we've written it in a language called C++, and we can build that into what's called WebAssembly. And what that will allow us to do is take the Vortex engine and deploy it on a website. We could have a fully web-based editor or virtual glove. And it would be just like the editor or the virtual glove that you're using on the desktop here, but it would just be on the website. And you could access it theoretically from your phone or from any platform or operating system, and it would work exactly the same. So that would be like a direction that I want to go. But yeah, I do need probably
Holy
a, a
shit.
few web
Sorry.
developers to help.
Just is like
Yeah,
breaking my
he's
face right now.
yeah, he's popping off.
That's yeah, sorry. Continue.
It's just him doing his thing, man.
Yeah, that's
we
just
got
Jest.
we got the colors working. I gotta wiggle the fingers with them a little bit.
Oh god.
Honestly, that mode looks really awesome. I find a lot of the time blinking patterns don't look good on cameras,
Yo,
but with the Vortex wired set, because you can get like different
And that's
color, yeah,
yes.
it looks great. It looks awesome.
What I did with every one of these modes is I cut down all of the flash times so that
Yes.
the blanks there's
Yeah.
less blanks in less
Yeah.
places and that always makes it look better on camera.
Of course.
yeah,
Yeah, you have more time to capture the light. Yeah, it looks great. That's really awesome. Yeah, I like
yeah.
that.
Just is the best.
What other modes? Keep going.
So this
Just
is
very good
the
camera capturing I've ever seen.
Hmm.
when we went too far. This one, yeah,
Do
there we
you
go.
have do you have the thumb button in?
I do
Yeah.
not. I honestly, the thumb button just kept getting in the way for me, so I took it out. I wasn't a
Yeah.
huge fan of how it landed in my glove set, and it would take that little extra time of trying to get it to the position. And I
Mhm.
found myself not changing modes mid show enough to really need it.
Mm. Makes sense. That's why it's an add-on.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, sorry, WebAssembly. Getting the thing on a website. If
I
we
mean,
can do
that's
that
pretty much it. Yeah.
and the database together, we have the website. You can save to the website, make an account, download your friend.
Honestly, we need to go and get gloving.com from the that they who shall not be named other gloving company that bought it.
Sure,
And put
gloving.com would be nice, but like this is new. It's still gloving, but it doesn't have to just be gloving, right?
True.
Like
True.
what about the orbit?
It
What
is
about
so much more. Yeah.
it's like it's
So
What about I suppose it could just go on Vortex. I suppose you can have it on your website. I suppose that's fine.
it makes sense. Yeah, no, it makes sense actually to have a separate website for like this sort of thing where it's just like a sharing forum, and
Right.
his website is just for his sales and his catalog and products, right? So it would make sense to come up with another website, but I don't know about gloving.com because it's not just for gloves. It's for orbits, it's for Vortex devices, which we could come up with new things. I actually personally really, really, really want to make a frisbee.
Right.
A Vortex frisbee.
Yeah, but
Fuck
I'm
yeah.
not a hardware person. I don't 3D print. I don't make hardware circuitry. I'm just a programmer. So I'm like over here going, "Hey Shane, frisbee please, frisbee." Um, so there's all kinds of Vortex devices that we can make, and I don't know if you've talked about the pendant much. I don't know, Shane, you got a pendant near you? You want to
I do.
pull one
I
out?
hope. Let's see.
The pendant is just like it's like a necklace, a little thing that it's got one little button on it, and it's not very programmable. It's not as powerful of a chip as the gloves or the Orbit, so it's not going to be able to plug into the editor and get real-time programming, but it is just a small Vortex device that theoretically could be programmed with Vortex modes. Um, and we're
Cool.
just working on like how that would come about, right? Because we can't plug it into the editor, but we could have another device that kind of goes in between the pendant and your computer, and it can program the pendant. So yeah, there
So
are
get
LED frisbees. I've
so
seen them and I've used them, and there's some modern ones now today that are out there that are really good. It just you have to do it right because a frisbee has to be weighted correctly and shaped correctly, otherwise it doesn't
so
work right.
Shane, basically what you should do is go find the rights to vortexengine.com or something similar and get that immediately so that you can get working on the
VortexEngine.com's not taken. We could definitely take that. But I mean I don't know. Yeah, Vortex Engine. You could call it Vortex Community.
Yeah.
That's probably more along the lines what it is. It's the Vortex community, and you can make an account in the Vortex community, and you can use the virtual glove in the Vortex community, and then use the virtual editor, and then save a mode out of it, and save it to your profile on the Vortex community, and then send a link to your mode to one of your friends and say, hey, download this mode, try it on your orbit, and then try it on your glove set, and then make some changes to it and upload it, send the link back to me, and I'll try it again. That sort of thing.
great. I love that.
It'll basically be light shows as a social media minus the social.
Yeah, like I said earlier, I want to make changing your color sets fun again. Yeah, I remember when it was fun, when picking color sets and looking up color sets and sharing them was so great. And then I think everyone just kind of got really freaking tired of it.
Right.
Like
It's just too much effort.
That and the Spectras kind of flopped. Like that was supposed to be here, you don't have to program your lights anymore, and then it just ended up being like, oh wait, my lights never connect to the hub.
Mhm. Or the hub
So
is dead.
yeah, or whatever, the hub's
The
dead
app
or
is
something, right?
working. Or my
Yeah,
phone doesn't work with the app.
yeah. So
Problems and
Hilarious.
solutions.
I want to make it fun
Hilarious.
again to share modes. I want to make people, picking cool color sets with strange, obscure colors and picking cool timings and then
Mhm.
uploading it. And other people being amazed that, oh, hey, why didn't I think of that, right? Like, I think that's gonna be it's gonna revitalize light shows and gloving, and I think that's what we need after the pandemic too.
I agree.
Yeah.
This definitely gives me a reason to play with my lights some more.
Yep.
It's good. I think I'm really hoping that by like drawing different communities together into this one platform, essentially, I really hope it can really invigorate all of them together and give people a really cool place to experience them, especially differently than they have before. It's really got a lot of potential, and especially as the new toys and gizmos enter the engine, which should be fast-ish, especially compared to all my previous development times.
So I think that was pretty much all the topics that I wanted to talk about. So I mean, I want to talk about like the new connection process. You can just unplug and plug the gloves in freely whenever you want. The editor just immediately detects the disconnect, the reconnect. Got the new status bar in the editor, shows the connection status so that you can see whether you're connected or not. The port list only shows the devices that are actually Vortex devices that are in the editor menu. So you're not going to get ports that are like your camera or your other random serial devices that are plugged in. Of course, we want to talk about the Vortex Glove emulator, the Vortex Orbit emulator, which isn't actually, I don't think it's for download yet, but it will be soon. As soon as we make the Orbit fully compatible with the editor, which won't take long. I think someone was asking about that earlier, if the Vortex Orbit will work with the editor. And it will. I believe it'll connect if you download the Vortex engine and load it onto the Orbit. It'll connect to the editor, but it won't work with the editor just yet.
Almost.
You guys have
Yeah,
done so much work in such a short period of time. It's been so long since the light show community has had something to really be excited about. And what's so cool is you guys are not done yet. You're gonna keep working on stuff, and I know Shane's gonna keep tinkering. And we got light show Tony Stark over here. It's nice.
This
Yeah.
is really just the start. I mean, like, yeah, it's just the tip, and just like literally just the tip, and we're gonna keep going, and they're not gonna be able to stop us.
I am Iron Hand. All right, so
Yeah, exactly.
we we are just over 90 minutes into stream. Like Daniel said, you guys have covered pretty much everything you want to cover. You guys have any final thoughts?
Oh, when can I join the team?
Oh yeah.
You're
Welcome.
hired. So,
Yeah.
anyways, I think we're gonna call it a night. Thanks everyone for being here. Daniel, Shane, Taj. Thank you all, Jesticles, for being here on this Thursday night. We have one of the biggest showings we've had in a while. A lot of views, a lot of people coming through. Don't forget to smash the like button. Share this stream with people who are interested in gloving things. Gloving is going to be cool again, whether it's gloving 2.0 or not. It's going to be
Gloving
cool
2
again.
Electric Boogaloo.
Gloving 2 Electric Boogaloo. That's what we're getting into. So, thanks,
Just wait.
y'all.
What's next?
Yeah.
All right, bless y'all. It's better to be weird than boring.
Wait, do you
It's
call
just-
your fan base Jesticles?
My fan base is the Jesticles. Yes, that is correct.
That's so. I thought that's what you called your junk.
That too. Nah, we love all of our Jesticles here. We protect them. It only makes sense.
Take care of your justicles.
We
You
do.
wanna
We
keep-
take care of our Justicles if we want to keep
More
them.
importantly, make sure you wash your Jesticles.
Make sure you wash your Justicles. Listen here. All right, have a good night, everybody.
Take care.
Bye-bye.